Hello and welcome. This might be one of my last videos for a little bit, so stick with me on this one. I'm going to talk about the way the game industry has developed in the last couple of years, and it's just on a downhill spiral for AAA games to sit there and funnel everything out of your wallet to them. It's absolutely ridiculous what we're seeing, and let's talk about it. I'm going to talk about this on the heels of yet another developer coming out and strictly going up and down to do the motions to apologize for their lackluster game and for their game just sitting there as a cash cow for them to literally take your hard-earned cash. This is the industry we are in now, where game developers don't generally have a care in the world for what you want in a game. All they care about is if they get your dollary dues, and that is the biggest problem. There's crunch time with these games, so they got to get them out. Developers, especially one like Sony in particular, a lot of these have what I see is Sony behind them, pushing them along. If we look back at Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, I still enjoy the game. I still have a good time. I still go in and play it every once in a while. The game at launch was an absolute train wreck. It was a travesty. It led to glitches. It led to speedrunners being able to solve the game in like 10 seconds, or that's a little over-exaggeration, but it still was absolutely ridiculous that these game-breaking bugs and these game-breaking glitches are constant in these games. And you have companies, in this case, Direct Entertainment, or Gollum, having to come out and apologize for their lackluster game. At times, the game looks like it was something made in the 2000s, but with the updated graphics card and the requirements that they're saying that you should be using, like the recommendations, which I believe was a 3070 for running this game, it just does not live up to the staying power that your computer rig should have. And these are coming out onto like the PlayStation in particular, where a lot of these games have followed up on the PlayStation and they're still having issues. And at one point, I know with the Microsoft acquisition of Activision Blizzard, Sony was arguing that Microsoft will make games to a point where if they make a game that will port to the PlayStation, they will make it subpar and it won't run as good. Well, this is what we're seeing with PC games. These games don't run great on PC, even though you have the hardware. You've done your due diligence to make them work, and yet you go out there, you play the game, you spend 70, 80, 90, or they piece this thing out where you've got to buy all these DLCs. You know, you want your bacon, lettuce, and tomato on your burger, but you got to pay extra for each piece. And with the Gollum game, they did it where you had to pay extra for just an emote. It's absolutely ridiculous where we are in the state of games today. And when you sit there and you see this nonstop parade of company after company after company making these statements saying, oh, we're sorry the game didn't live up to your expectation, we'll do better next time, we're working hard to work at it, yada, yada, yada. It goes on. And then on top of that, we're seeing devs come back constantly right now saying they need more time to make the game the way they want to make the game, or things like we saw with what is it, The Day After, which I don't even know if that game's coming out still, where they put it out there and it just looks like an absolute marketplace where it's just nothing except assets off a marketplace and throwing out there. There is a massive divide in the gaming industry right now, and part of it is just people are getting fed up and tired of spending their hard-earned money on a pile of crap. So yeah, I pick on Sony a little bit more here because they keep mentioning that they're not going to bring games to PC, or they're not going to optimize for PC. They're going to bring it out on their console first, and they want you to buy their console, and they're just going to crap on someone going out there and buying your PC parts. They already look down on us. They've made these statements on Twitter as well. Now, from the Game Developers Conference, it came out, this was back in January 2023. State of the Game Industry, devs weigh in on the metaverse, which is Facebook, whatever you want to call it, player toxicity, and more. They go in to tell and say that developers are getting hated on. They're getting toxic. There's absolutely ridiculous amount of people coming down and breathing fire down our throats because things are not good. They say they don't deserve the hate. They don't deserve the toxicity. But here's the problem. They keep taking our money, but then we don't get the product in return. So why would anyone not be upset? We continue to see down the road, I think it was even Anita Sarkeesian even talked about how diversity, equity, and inclusion is becoming the shield for these companies. They say, oh, if you don't like the game, then you're racist. Or, oh, you don't like the game, you're a bigot. It's like, it's absolutely ridiculous where the state of the game industry is right now. There's a lot of divide because the game industry execs sit there and go, they laugh it up. They're like, oh, these people will continue to give us money. They'll continue to give us money. We don't need to worry about it. No, you do need to worry about it because you're the ones putting out garbage and no one wants to buy garbage. We see this, I've been seeing this in Wizards of the Coast and Magic the Gathering as well with the quality of their cardboard, and it's absolute trash. It's an ongoing problem that we see across the board in the games industry, not in just video games, but board games as well. And that's why I talk out about these things. That's why I sit there and go, listen, we're the consumers. We should be able to sit there and be vocal about things that are wrong with these games. That's how they get fixed. If you don't speak up and talk about how things are wrong with these games, they don't get fixed. But we're now into the point where these companies sit there and they just sit there in the law and they sit there and they know the dollars are just going to keep piling in because everyone spends their hard-earned money the way they choose. But and the entertainment industry of video games in itself is billions of dollars every year, but then it doesn't change. Nothing changes because you have another Redfall, you have another Gollum, you have another Cyberpunk situation, you have another No Man's Sky situation where the game at launch is an absolute train wreck. Down the line, they fix things. I don't see Gollum being able to fix things. That the game is an absolute travesty. And Redfall, the glitches and the bugs. I know a few of you that do watch the channel. You have voiced your concerns about the game, and you were very upset about how you pre-ordered this game and decided, oh, I'm gonna dive all in, and then you go to play it, and you're watching a picture show. You're watching something worse than you going out and spending your pennies to watch a show in the theater that's just slideshows going past your face. That's all we're getting out of these games. And is it the hardware problem? Is it because optimization for games doesn't exist anymore because no one takes the time to optimize their games anymore? And that is the biggest problem. This is, I see it across my industry as an electrician as well, where quality control and quality assurance is being thrown out the window now. Nobody has time for these things, but then it's creating this lag for them. And that lag is going to bite you in the ass in the long run. And that's why a lot of people are speaking up and a lot of people are saying, listen, how do we fix this? How do we fix this? Oh, Microsoft is going to bring in AI robots to crack down on the way people are talking in games. That's not how you fix this. That's a social that's a social issue in their games that have chat and voice. That's a completely different scenario compared to a game where you're literally watching a slideshow. Or glitches that break in the game, or storylines that just don't make any sense. Well, I've gone on long enough ranting and raving about how the game industry is a shell of its former self. Where we are today compared to where we are 10 years ago is completely different. The hardware is completely accelerated way past what video games can actually do, and that's putting a lot of pressure on these video games to step it up, to do something more, to make something innovative, and they're not doing it because they don't want to take the time or the effort to do it because all they see is dollars in front of their face. Anyway, if you made it this far in the video, I think you have to subscribe to the channel. I hope you stick around the channel. I will be gone for a little bit, so don't fret. I will be back. I'm just working. I will be working, and videos are going to be a little bit more sparse. Anyway, until next time, you guys have a great day. I'm your proud Canadian Phoenix, Cindershadow. Don't forget to like and subscribe.